How do these idiots get on
It's
here?
because we don't have boundaries. Wherever our sense of humor takes us, well, we're pretty okay with walking in there with our eyes wide open.
Yeah.
And sometimes walking slowly out after turning off the lights.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 551. I'm Terry Mixon. Joining me, Paul E. Cooley. How are you guys doing? I say you guys because of your multiple personalities.
My multiple personalities. We're really going to bring up my multiple personalities. Really?
Look, we had a vote before the show, and most of you said it was okay.
Oh, well, shit. I need to kill those other two. My coding personality has been working its ass off all weekend, working on this project, and hopefully we'll get funded in the next couple of weeks.
Robots.
Be nice. Yeah, robots. I think I may have made the mistake of diving in full tilt. Anyway,
is this the diving in full tilt? This doesn't have anything to do with that 55-gallon drum of lubricant that you ordered, does it?
No, I bought that for you.
Oh, that's personal use. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, I bought that for you. Anyway,
ooh, wait a minute. You know, that could be read all kinds of really
you take
really
that
bad ways.
However you like, wherever you like. Anyway, so been working on Trident when I get the chance. I'm still editing and doing all that garbage and trying to get some new words down on a couple other things, and got a lot in the pipe, and I have got to get the goddamn subscription services going on these fucking platforms. But storage space is a pain in the ass. So anyway, that's what I'm working on at the moment. Hopefully I will come up from air this weekend.
Come up for air at least, anyway.
Yeah, come up for air. We'll see. So yes, at least something is making money in my life.
You know, maybe you're going to discover that being a writer is your hobby, and you're just going to have to, program slave for the man until cyberpunk becomes a reality.
Let's hope not.
Let's hope not.
Let's hope not. I think cyberpunk already is a reality. We just haven't noticed yet.
I need a deck. I need a deck right now.
I need a block.
Ooh.
Yeah.
There you go.
Some block loveliness.
And for me, I finished writing a short story for J.R. Hanley's post-apocalyptic series. Got that done. His anthology that he's putting together. I've got the short story that I'm writing in the Chris Kennedy universe halfway done, and I'll have it wrapped up in the next 2 or 3 days and off to where it needs to be. And then I'll start the last of the 3 short stories that I'm doing, get that done so that I can get back to Empire. By the time I finish with the short stories, I probably should have the last book, Blood of Patriots, back from the proofreader, and I can go ahead and put that out on pre-order. I'm experimenting with pre-orders. We'll see how that works out.
Too bad it took you so long to find out about the PayPal button.
There's a PayPal button?
We just had this conversation in our interview, but never mind that. That's for next week. I don't know why I brought that up.
That's for next week. One thing, folks, that if you're listening to this episode, you need to be aware of is we're having a live show Saturday, this weekend, 3 p.m.
If you're a patron.
I'm sure that Paul has sent out notices far and wide, and everyone already knows that it's out there. Yep, that's what I thought.
I want
the shit you give me for guests. I'm going to give you back for this.
I want it known that I am demoing bullshit this weekend, and I'm leaving for the demo. And Terry sends me a message going, "Hey, we have that live show at 3:00. Don't forget." And I'm like, "What? I don't have anything on my calendar for this weekend. What are you talking about?"
Because when we did the first one, we said we're doing the next one in 2 weeks. And so I made a calendar appointment to remember it by.
Yes. And
we even told the patrons there would be another one in 2 weeks.
I don't remember that at all.
We did.
All right.
But that's okay. They figured it out.
Paul has had Head-Up-Ass disease because Paul's been working like ridiculous hours. So, yeah. And it looks like that's going to continue for the foreseeable future.
Your mortgage appreciates it.
My mortgage appreciates it. My all my bank accounts appreciate it. So, yeah.
I got to say, writing that post-apocalyptic story was fun. Let's just say that you died in an interesting and fairly humiliating way.
One of these days, okay, here it is. I don't care who does it. One of you patrons or one of you listeners, one of you YouTube watchers, I want to see a graph or chart of all the terrible ideas that Terry has had versus all the terrible ideas I have had. I want them to be matched up by severity. I want them to be matched up by insanity. And I want to see the graphs. I want to see the stats on this.
That's all very subjective.
That's why I'm not having either of us involved in it.
Because I think all my ideas are terrible.
Then why do you try and pass them off to me? You know, Paul, you should write this really shitty idea.
Well, you know, you're not the audience for that.
Why say do you that keep telling me to write it?
Because the listeners think it's funny. They're the audience for those.
It's such an asshole. It's such an asshole.
And some of them actually end up being decent ideas. Yeah. I don't try to, you know, just be a troll with ideas. I'm one of those brainstorming people that an idea hits my head and I immediately throw it out there.
Yes, I know, whether you should or not.
Whether I should or not.
You're one of those blue sky bozos we had to deal with in the corporate world.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
There's a reason. They told me in meetings, just shut up. Sit over there, sit down, and shut up.
And stop asking what if. That's really annoying.
But what? Shut up. Exactly.
Speaking of that.
Of shutting up?
Of shutting up. We should probably get into the show.
We probably should. Because, folks, you know, I can already tell you from having experienced this episode, you know, last week when we recorded it, that we really shouldn't have gone here where we went with this show. We really shouldn't have. I blame it all on Paul because he dragged us there anyway. And with that,
all I did was mention one thing. One thing.
You mentioned one thing, and then you kept coming back to it again and again and again to the point to where, okay, I warned you, if you keep talking about this, that's going to be in the episode, and it was. And with that teaser, folks, let's get into it.
That post you put up there, or somebody put up there the other day about the sex robots.
I did.
Was that you that put that? Okay.
That was me. Wow. That's very close to the Surrogates movie, as a matter of fact. Maybe that's why it's wandering around my brain.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's...
They want to have... They're getting them to where they can have conversations with you.
It's just so fucking creepy.
I mean, imagine 20 years from now when they have mobility and you can have the sex bot that cleans your house and does that. It's the end of the human race. It is the fucking end of the human race right there.
Well, for those people who can afford it.
They're talking about sub $500 things.
Bullshit.
They're talking about when they're more widespread, them being sub $500. Now, who do you know personally that would not buy a $500 sex robot that would clean the house and, you know, benefits?
Anybody who's married. I shouldn't say that because tonight you use the robot. I'll use him tomorrow.
That could be it. You could walk home and find one, but it's a male, and your wife says, "Honey, look at our new robot."
Right.
And then there you'd be. Maybe they could swap out the genitalia.
I was actually thinking about that. If the robot, well, why are we having this conversation?
I'm not. You brought up the sex robots article, and we went right down the dirt hole.
The genitalia swap out model. So,
there's going to be something like that.
You're probably right. You're probably right. I think it's that is very possible. The thing is, I don't agree with the price point for 3 reasons. Number one is the materials are only going to get more expensive.
Or cheaper.
No, they're not going to get cheaper. There's only so much mining that can be done. Until we get better recycling of those components, it's going to be a problem. Number 2.
Are we in the middle of an episode? Is this a
No.
sex robots episode?
No, this is not an episode. This is you and me bullshitting. If it becomes an episode, I'm strangling the fuck out of you. What was okay? Number one, lack of materials. Number two, I think it's going to take longer than 20 years. And number three, I think a better use of them is actually going to be building them to take care of the old folks.
Well, that certainly brings a new definition to take care of. Sure.
Well, I guess at that point, you don't have to worry about a sexual harassment lawsuit when grandpa gets a little frisky.
So what's the morality of having robots care for the old and infirm? That seems like that would have some serious implications.
Well, I think about it now, though. In a way, I hope we do the reverse of this. I hope we go back to the way it used to be.
Oh, you are insane. Never happening.
Well, it's actually happening because kids are moving back in with their parents because they can't afford to live by themselves in apartments or houses. And guess what? The kids get older, they stick around, they're helping take care of the parents, they're paying rent, they're doing everything else. It's going to turn like it's exactly the way it works in England.
It's the way that it's the way that it should be, honestly enough. And what you're saying is true simply because I read an article that some ridiculously small amount of millennials have any kind of real savings. It's terrible.
They can't. Everything's too fucking expensive. All that aside, though, if you think about the way we do it now, you might as well have robots in there. The only time that, at least my experience has been with my grandparents, was the only time they really interfaced with anybody in any meaningful way was when we came. That was it. So depending on who they are and how social they are, the people that are around them might as well be robots.
Well, if you're designing these, if they're the way they're talking, they're designing these robots to be companions and talk and have conversations that actually make sense at some point, then you're going to find a ton of people abandoned to these robots, and those are going to be the only things they have to interface with.
Yeah, I can see that happening. That Futurama episode, the sex bots ended civilization. You know, aliens come by and destroy everything. They're too busy fucking silicon to even notice. Silicon and silicone. Sexy. But yeah, I
and leather.
Well, I brought up this in the past, you know, AI rights or SI rights, whatever you want to call them. Intelligent entity rights. You know, that's part of what you're talking about.
There's a British show called Humans. Have you heard of it?
Heard of it, yes. Never watched it.
My wife watched it a lot. I've seen a few episodes of it in passing, and it deals with exactly these episodes. This company designed a thing to make robotic companions, and they do all those things, but they're not sentient until some of them are.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then you start dealing with an underground of sentient companions and their struggle to be free and humanity's darker struggle to suppress them.
Right. There was a video game not too long ago that did that exactly. Told them from basically 4 different points of view. I can't remember. One of them was from an android who was a cop. That's all he was supposed to do, is to be a cop. And then another one who was a servant. I don't remember. Anyway, it all went to hell.
And ironically, I think that at the beginning of this episode, the guy buys the companion for his family to help take care of the kids and keep the house up, and gets talked into adding the sex package. So it even ties right into what we were just talking about with the sex robots. And believe me, that causes some shit in his marriage.
I don't doubt it. Well, it's the same thing with Altered Carbon, right?
I don't know.
Well, I'm talking about the robot thing with folks having sleeves or having sex with women in different sleeves, and all the virtual sex that was going on, everything else that was in there. We never got to see exactly what the morality code was of the normal people.
We didn't. I'm going to suspect that if it's the same individual wearing different sleeves, that there's not a morality aspect to that, because you're not being untrue to your partner. You're with your partner, who is your willing accomplice in the matter. Virtual sex may be different, but people swapping sleeves, that's the same thing as cosplay. When you're having sex, dress up as a nurse, do whatever. That's changing sleeves is a much more extreme version of that, but it's in the same ballpark.
Is it forbidden for robots to have sex with humans?
In the universe that we're talking about?
Well, in any universe.
I hate to tell you this, but we're in the middle of an episode. You're gonna have to strangle me now. In any universe, is that what we're talking about?
Oh, I'm just saying, for you, is that something you would go after?
I don't think that I would, but I'm of an age to where that's not so attractive to me. When the robots or whatever get much more advanced, I'm not going to blame any 20-something that decides that that's better than the dating game. It's going to be something that's a mystery to me, but it wouldn't surprise me, and I wouldn't feel animus toward whoever did that.
So I can easily imagine a civilization where there are extremes on either end. In other words, there are intelligent entities who think it's wrong to commingle with the human race, whereas they're maybe okay for most folk. And then there's the other end where it's, anathema for humans to interface with SIs.
If you take it that far, I can certainly see that happening, and that's an element that we could write into our fiction.
Romeo and Juliet with androids.
Oh, yeah. Just go look back at the original Blade Runner.
Yeah.
That touches on a lot of those same elements that we're just talking about.
Yeah. That also brought up the idea of using synthetics for doing really dangerous jobs like combat, mining, industrial stuff, things like that. Basically making purpose-built sacrificial toys.
Is that morally acceptable if you keep the intelligence level below sentience?
Ooh.
I know it's not acceptable if they are sentient, for me anyway. But is it acceptable if they are just robots?
I think we're already at that point. Theoretically, yes. Theoretically, it's fine and groovy. All you're doing is you're asking a machine to do a task.
You'll find people that don't agree with that sentiment.
Oh, I know. I think the idea of an AI-controlled drone scares the shit out of me. I don't care if it's delivering a package or firing a missile. It scares the shit out of me.
I've seen some military stuff that's autonomous that they've been putting together. That scares the shit out of me. It's got guns.
It should. And it's extremely hackable. It's fucking terrifying. Just no.
Skynet is here, baby.
Oh, it doesn't even take Skynet. All it takes is the right kind of cracker to get in there, and you're fucked.
The right kind of cracker. Oh, I see what you're saying there. We're not talking a cracker. We're talking a hacker cracker. Got it.
A hacker cracker.
I wasn't sure where we were going with this whole soup, thing, but
cracking
there you
security.
go.
You don't hack security, you crack it.
Nothing is safe these days.
Yeah, if you can get in there and get on the network, you're fucked. If you want to, if you're interested in how all that worked before modern times, go read a book called The Cuckoo's Egg. I think it's called The Cuckoo's Egg. That shows you what it was like in 1978 to find a flaw and go forward. It's really interesting book. Really interesting book.
About 5 or 6 years ago, I read. I took a network security class, and one of the things that I did in that was do a little mini research paper on people hacking cars remotely and controlling various aspects of them. Yes. And even back then, the security was so flawed because the companies just did not care. They weren't going to put the money into it. That an ethical hacker, thank goodness, spent a lot of time figuring out how to go over the cellular network, get into a Jeep that was across the country, break through from the cellular service into the actual controls of the car, be able to control the radio, the brakes, the acceleration,
Everything but the steering.
Everything but the steering. Anything that could be controlled remotely, he could control.
Right. So automated 18-wheelers sound really good and all until the software crashes.
Or until somebody hacks it and decides to run it through the city as fast as they possibly can.
While it's carrying, 40,000 pounds of weight. Yeah, that kind of thing. No.
It's going to happen. It's just a matter of time.
Well, let's put it this way. I won't be getting in that shit anytime soon because, these people are fucking insane. They're making the same mistake everybody made before. I mean, look at the Internet of Things, all those Nest thermostats that are infinitely vulnerable to everything that's been going on. And you have, Alexa and Siri and Google Assistant, whatever the hell it's called. Yeah. So much freaking data.
The problem is, as you could say, I'm not getting involved with that self-driving stuff. The self-driving stuff can get involved with you without your input whatsoever. You're just sitting in your house being, afraid of everything with your tinfoil hat on, and it can come running through the side wall of your house and run over you.
Yeah. Now, see, I could see making the automated buses that, like, for instance, we have our HOV here is sectioned off. It'd be easy to have an automated bus do that.
There are some automated buses in testing at airports. I read an article about a month ago about them implementing it somewhere, and first day out, a cop pulled it over because he had to see what the heck that was all about. It had a driver, it had a attendant there monitoring because it's still being tested, and the cop just had to know what was going on. He's like, what is that thing?
What is it doing on my highway?
It was in the airport, so it was an airport cop.
Oh, even better. Because they don't have enough reasons to be paranoid. See,
no,
that's the
not
other
at
thing.
all.
When you have a vehicle, like a car or a truck, that's a bomb. That's a goddamn bomb. If you've got an autonomous vehicle, it would be so goddamn easy to rig it up with stuff.
The future is now, baby.
Ah, Jesus Christ. Why do I think of this shit? I mean, seriously though, it's like, if there was some kind of network for all the IoT stuff, which there is, if they were to crack all of that shit at the same time and be able to send notes to say all the thermostats to pump it up to 90 or below or whatever the hell you want to do, you could crash
the grid.
You crash the grid and probably set some houses on fire.
Well, think about this. Just a couple of days ago, they had the entirety of Argentina and part of other countries lose their entire power grid. They still don't know exactly what caused that. I'm thinking it could have been a hack.
Very well could have been. Very well could have been.
An entire country, poof, there goes your electricity.
Yeah, it can happen. I don't think, I think if the average person knew just how bad security is in the United States, as far as our nuclear reactors, our electrical grid system, our water system, all the shit on the highway, everything you can think of it's so fucking old that it was written before they even knew what a firewall was. And a lot of that shit's still being used. And even the new stuff, the companies that they're hiring to do it, nothing's secure.
Just think about this. Who provides most of the components?
Yes.
China.
Yes.
Who would have a grand interest in being able to crash our power grid if they wanted to? China.
Yeah. Or Russia.
But Russia doesn't provide that type of thing. China does.
True.
Russia can hack in. China can actually implant chips that have code in them that allow them in, back doors.
That's going to be one of the things that I've been wondering about the last 5 or 6 years, and it's the same kind of thing, the same kind of problem that we have with India and some other joints, is the fact that there are a lot of resources that need to be there. Unfortunately, most of the corporations hire the cheapest resources they can get their hands on, regardless of nationality or anything else. But when I think you're working on national security thing, everybody should be a fucking citizen and nothing should be outsourced. Nothing. Because from what I've seen the last 7 or 8 years, Northrop Grumman and all those other companies have been cracked multiple fucking times. So why would you even bother?
That's how the Chinese got the plans for the F-35.
I've no doubt. So, it makes no goddamn sense to me. This is one of those situations where capitalism is a major fucking fail. Because all that's happened is everything has gotten more expensive and less is being done. That's all that's happened. I mean, NASA doesn't hire anybody now except bureaucrats and some scientists who usually work for JPL or somebody else anyway.
But we're going to the moon, baby.
Oh, yeah. It's part of Mars.
It's
Or
a
is the Mars
stepping
part of the moon. I don't remember which.
It's a stepping stone to Mars, yes.
But it's Mars. No, it's not. Yeah. Stupid shit people say. It makes me feel better about the stupid shit we say.
We're nowhere near the worst.
No, we're not. I figure that out every goddamn day.
We think we say something stupid, and then all we have to do is turn on the news and know we're not even in their league.
No, we're not even close to being in their league. The national security thing is going to be a real problem. And it doesn't matter what nation you're with. There are other countries that actually pay their employees that do those things, like building computer security systems, things like that. They actually pay their employees. They actually have benefits. So there's a reason they actually want to work. As opposed to people like me who are great. I can work for the federal government and be on welfare. Wonderful.
You just need to write a story about a billionaire who sets up his own private company to build his own stuff that's up to his standards as opposed to the general standards, because he knows the end is coming.
No.
Sounds like a post-apocalyptic novel.
I had an idea for a book where open source software was no longer allowed in America. America had its own operating system. And all the chips had DRM-like controls on them. And anything without those was illegal. And anything running open source software was illegal. And then, of course, the movement to shatter that whole system.
Let's go ahead and ask the reverse question. Should it be shattered? Look how dangerous open source actually is. Are you a sympathizer for those other countries?
I'm a sympathizer for human beings. Pure and simple. And yeah, open source is so bad. Windows is finally having to admit, we really need to support that. And most of the projects that are good are not ours and they're open source anyway. So yeah.
It's true. But one of the things about open source is you've got the source code. If somebody's going to look for a way to get in, they've got a roadmap right there.
Yes, but at the same time, that also means the white hats and the gray hats have the roadmap right there to find the problems instead of trying to attack binaries.
That would make an interesting, story to write, an interesting thriller. The white hats versus the black hats trying to crack an open source and protect an open source.
That'd be more like a gray hat, and a black hat would be much more interesting.
All right.
You know what a gray hat is? Yeah, you know. You don't?
I've heard the term, but refresh my mind.
Gray hats will do the same thing black hats will. The difference is they won't do anything mischief-wise. They will more than likely try and fix the problem just out of curiosity.
And what is a white hat then?
White hats do not penetrate.
Useless buggers.
Wow, did I really just say that?
You did, and that's going to be at the front of this show.
Yep, that's the bumper for the day. White hats will basically attack they'll attack the network with the consent of the owner.
Okay. I buy the difference between what you're saying. Some gray hats versus some black hats over some, open source nuclear code.
Oh,
The your fabled open source nuclear control codes.
no, you know what it's going to be? It's going to be to the when we get to the point of actually printing chips.
The problem with printing chips is, holy cow! If you put an error in there, it's in there. You have to print a new chip if you discover a flaw.
That is correct, but that's the way it works now.
Better make those chips easily swappable. Which, of course, means somebody sneaking in with a chip of their own.
It depends on how you looked at it. If you poison the factory blueprints, or better yet, if these are chips you can print in your own printer, then if you sabotage that, you've got basically a link into everything.
Mm-hmm. I can sort of see if you've got a lot of these plugins, you to swap the plug and play, swap out things. You could have some type of hardware checksum saying, okay, I've got all of these chips, all of whatever I'm figuring out should give me a checksum that says none of the chips have been replaced.
Yes.
It doesn't exist. I'm projecting what would make a good story item. I'm not saying that exists currently, but you could make it so that, and then someone would have to come up with a way of making an altered chip that somehow gave the same information back.
Right.
Just a thriller theme.
I like the idea of hacking or cracking blueprints, though, for stuff to print at home or for industrial. I love the idea of doing that because you could cause so much crazy to go on and nobody would know what was happening. Especially since the computer would look at the blueprint and say, yes, this matches the blueprint. Never mind the flaws that are in the blueprint. It's not smart enough to detect that. That could be interesting. More sci-fi shit, more sci-fi ideas.
Boy, we're just about into cyberpunk territory now.
That is a good. Okay, so Cyberpunk 2070 or whatever was announced at E3, and I think Love, Death, and Robots, the way it's going, it is very cyberpunkish in so many ways. Are we on the verge of another outbreak of that crazy?
Maybe. I'm a big fan of William Gibson's work when he did Neuromancer and the books that laid the groundwork for what cyberpunk as a genre became. And a lot of things they talk about there are seeming more realistic every day.
Yes, I agree with you there. I think Gibson and Sterling foresaw way too much of what's actually turning into. Right or wrong or indifferent, they pretty much nailed it. But
I'm just waiting for the Japanese companies to take over our country and we to become, officially a corporate, holding.
It won't be Japan. They're broke.
I know, but this was written back.
Chinese.
This was back when the Chinese, when the Japanese were big, is when Gibson wrote that. That's
true.
That's how that originally started out. Yeah. Late 80s, early 90s, and before now it's going to be the Chinese.
Yep, I remember that. Yes, everything was about Japan, and now everything's going to switch to China.
Ah, the Yakamura Corporation. They're going to subject us to this. That's terrible. Okay. I have no idea who the Yakamura. I'm sorry, Yakamura Corporation. I really didn't mean to talk about you.
Not sponsored by the Yakamura Corporation for obvious reasons.
I've got to look. I've got a break here for a second.
Damn it, Terry! You completely destroyed that sponsorship deal I've been working on. Completely wrecked it. The Yaku. Where did you pull that out of?
I just tossed it out of there. There is a Nakamura Corporation. They make guitars. I think we're safe from being, under their corporate heels for a while.
Never know. Do they supply air guitar?
Bill and Ted do.
How do you make a corporation a good enemy? A good villain?
Self-interest. They're not doing it because it's evil. They're doing it because it's going to make them money. Okay, then they become an excellent villain.
But at one point, does it just turn into a mustache twirling moron.
If they're willing to go to any lengths to get what they want, they're mustache twirling. If they've got limits, they're willing to kill you, but not your entire family. They're willing to kill you, but not everybody on your block. They're not going to send, robots in to shoot up that block. When you go to extremes, that's when they become mustache twirling villains. You have to have limits. You have to have villains that have limited objectives that are otherwise, scarily enough, normal human beings.
In the strain, when the ship finally hits the fan, the head vampire has been laying the groundwork all this time to take over the largest corporation in the world. And that is how he does it. Because when things hit the fan, he's already got all the humans he needs to carry out all the things that he needs done. They're already in place. All he has to do is threaten them to keep doing their jobs. That's it. Just basically subvert the bureaucracy from within, take control of it, and make it do whatever you want it to do.
Limited objectives.
Limited objectives. But there is no limit to manipulation.
Oh, no. You can manipulate all you want. But we were talking about mustache twirling villains. Yeah. So, yeah, you've got to keep your objectives limited and the scope that you're willing to go within reason to have a villain that's actually a believable villain. If you go Spectre, well, you're not quite there.
That never worked for me. I think we talked about this before. The whole destroy the world bullshit or take over the world. You're a moron. You'll never be able to hold that.
Well, I know, Mr. Bond. I expect you to die.
Yeah. Bullshit. I think Goldfinger's particular fetish was much more achievable than that shit. But yeah, same movie.
Gotta love Blofeld.
Is that what we're calling him?
That's his name.
I know. It was a memories test for you. That's what it was. I swear. So if you want to stay away from the mustache twirling villain, when's the time to use the mustache twirling villain?
I have been known to use mustache twirling villains, but I write adventure stories. And I paid for that price too. I made them mustache twirly enough to where some people didn't like it enough to stop reading.
Didn't like it enough that they stopped reading.
Okay. They didn't like the mustache twirling villains enough to where they stopped reading the series.
Gotcha.
It's true.
Mustache twirling villains always just piss me off. Because the motivations just never made sense to me at all. I can understand wanting to take over a city. I can understand wanting to blackmail. I can understand horrific violence to means to an end. But taking over the world, destroying the world, even destroying an entire country, it starts to just feel a little way over the top.
Let's talk Harry Dresden.
Oh, God.
Do you remember the mob guy that is in his city in Chicago?
Vaguely.
Marcone.
Okay, Mark. Yeah. Fourth or fifth book, maybe.
He comes in a little later.
Book, right?
The what?
The book with the porn stars when he meets his brother.
It may be. I don't recall specific. I've read so many books in that series since then. I can't.
Number 4 or 5, I think. Anyway,
but
go on.
As a villain, he's a mustache twirling villain. He doesn't go out of his way to be brutish. He doesn't go out of his way to do things that are horrible. He's like Al Pacino. It's business.
Mm-hmm. It's all business.
If it makes business sense for what he's doing, then he's going to do it. If it doesn't, he's not. He's not going to go out and exterminate people. That's not his thing. But if he needs to kill someone because they're a threat to his holdings, he'll kill them.
Peaky Blinders, the end of the 4th season, I think. Shelby finally meets up with the guy who calls himself the Wandering Jew, and they've had lots of altercations the last 2 seasons. And he finally walks up to him on the beach, and says, I told you I'd never kill you unless it was about blood or money. Blood or business. Bad blood or business. That's what it was. And the guy says, well, fuck yeah, I know you're not here for business. It's a bad blood, is it? And then they face off. And it's the same kind of thing. This guy does the most horrible shit. The guy calls himself the Wandering Jew. The most horrible, awful shit. And yet when you get him in these moments, he just sits there and talks about absolutely nothing. Like just everything's under the sun. He could have just shot a guy and he just goes on like it just does not even matter. Did not enter into the conversation at all.
Oh, there was God, who was the character? I can't remember the show. It's Blacklist.
Yeah.
The I won't call him the villain because he's not the villain, but he's definitely not the good guy. He is
anti-hero.
He is the anti-hero. He will do the most terrible things to someone that crosses him, but he'll tell an amusing story that has nothing to do with anything in the process. It's his shtick, and it works so goddamn well.
It's just like in The Dark Knight where, Joker tells 3 different stories about how he got the scar, and he's about to tell the 4th one, and Batman shuts him the fuck up. But it's that same kind of thing where they just will talk about something that's patently false, because if half the shit he said was true, he'd be so dead it wouldn't be funny. But who always tells these outrageous tales when they're getting ready to do something horrible, or they're in a situation where they're getting ready to die or something along those lines. Some kind of distraction.
Raymond Reddington.
Yes. Raymond Reddington. What a fantastic character.
The last season that I watched of it, they changed a bunch of things up, and I didn't particularly care for it. But like the first 2 seasons were just mind-blowingly good.
Yeah, they were. I stopped watching it when Mr. What was her name? Mr.
The Cleaner.
Whatever her name was. When that went sideways, I was just kind of like, yeah, I think I'm done with the series. And when that season was over, I was done.
Yeah, the next season was not so grand.
Yeah, it's kind of a problem. But yeah, the first 2 seasons were just fucking awesome. But that is a great character.
I would be hard pressed to name a character that I liked more than Raymond Reddington.
The complexities are very interesting. He's got a ridiculous temper and at the same time, ridiculous self-control. He's capable of extreme violence in pursuit of his own goals. He's capable of even more extreme violence if somebody threatens something he loves, something or someone he loves.
And he's capable of extreme generosity
and mercy.
Mm-hmm.
He
is so complex.
Yeah, and you start to figure out what his tells are, what things drive him to the brink of being just a murderer, pure and simple murderer. I mean, don't get me wrong, the guy's a fucking psychopath. He has, at some point, and we do have those moments where we get into the fact that he does have a conscience. And all this is killing him, slowly but surely. It's eating away at him.
Would you have dinner with Raymond Reddington?
Fuck no.
Actually, you're probably safe.
Actually, yes, I would.
You're probably totally safe because you're not his enemy. No, he's not gonna kill you.
No,
he's not gonna do anything to you, but tell you stories that are just outrageous.
Exactly. It'd be like let's knock back some scotches and have you say the most ridiculous shit humankind's ever heard.
Reminds me of the time I was
sooner or later he's going to get around the pickled possum scrotum.
It reminds me of the time I was in Guam. Don't you remember that when we were in Guam? And then this happened. And then there was these possum scrotums. Yes, exactly. Somebody got busy writing the Raymond Reddington story where he tells the possum scrotum story.
I should really write That would be a fun exercise. Write a whole bunch of children's tales in the voice of Red Reddington.
Oh, Jesus. Talk about going back to the original Grimm's fairy tales.
Oh,
Holy cow.
So Audible had like these originals that were on you get them with your subscription, whatever the originals are for that month.
Mm-hmm.
And I got the bedtime stories for cynics. Holy shit. It's all audio drama, and it is so fucking wrong. It was great. There's one Patrick Stewart narrates, which is pretty cute and really does not end well. It was good, though. It was good. The sick and wrong. Sometimes you just got to have it.
No argument here, man.
Or bedtime stories told by Oscar.
There you go. You should start writing those right now.
No, I don't want to get sued. Fuck that. Maybe I can do the Teletubbies.
Oh, Jesus. Let's not. How about bedtime stories from the point of view of Barney?
No. Not even I will touch that thing. No. Abso-freaking-lutely not. No. If you're a Barney fan, I'm sorry. No. No, absolutely not.
We're sad to tell you this, but Raymond Reddington would kill Barney.
Just out of concern for humanity and bad taste.
There are some places that even he won't go. He would pop Barney's little noggin real quick.
I've had enough of your shit, little dead purple dinosaur. There you go. That's what you need.
Speaking of dead dinosaurs, I don't know what it was. Maybe it wasn't a dinosaur, but I linked a video to you of a cat that had gotten to the bottom end of a big doll and was trying to dig its way in. And so the whole thing is just flopping around as this cat's trying to get in through the bottom.
Oh my God.
I was like, this seems like a Black story. This seems like something Paul should be involved with.
Oh, here's another question for you. How do you make monsters into the villain?
Depending on the monster and its level of sentience, if you're talking a more generic sort of thing, then it's like writing a story against the land. If you're writing a zombie apocalypse story, they are more a force of nature and dealing with nature than they are anything else.
Or survival. It's all about survival.
If you start talking about things like vampires or werewolves that have some level of sentience about them, then you start getting into what their soft points are and how they are going to react when they're poked or when they hunt you down because they're hungry.
And you look marvelous.
Speaking of a totally unrelated sort of thing, okay. I had yet another story idea that I will never write because
Garaga, please save us.
It's horror. When I was at the dentist yesterday.
Well, that certainly is a good place to come up with horror stories.
In this case, it's not your usual one because they were getting ready to do the second half of my implant. And so they were taking some x-rays of the area where the implant is to get a good image for the doctor to look at. And the woman that was taking the imaging could not get the right angle. So she ended up taking like 7 or 8 different x-rays to get the right angle on it. And I'm sitting there, listening to that thing go beep, beep, as it takes its shot there and looking at the thing that says, this has radiation and whatnot. I can imagine somebody getting even with someone by taking them into a dentist's office after hours, hacking into the x-ray machine, leaving them strapped to the chair with duct tape and turning the x-ray machine on and leaving it running. You're going to be dead by the time somebody gets here on Monday. Enjoy.
Ugh. No.
Isn't that horrible?
Because then the person strapped to the table will figure out a way to break out of the tape and save themselves from the lethal radiation and blah, blah, blah. And then we have a Bond situation. Fuck that. If you're gonna kill him, kill him. That's the other thing. All right, let's talk about mustache twirling boneheads. You don't tell the hero the plan.
There's a list of supervillain things you're not supposed to do.
Yeah, exactly. It's in the list of shit you're not supposed to do. Unless you are writing a spoof, don't do it.
If you've got enemies, pop a cap in them. Get it done.
Pop a cap in their ass. Do not prolong it. Do not prolong it. You can prolong it in the person's mind who's going to do the decapitating or shooting or whatever else. It can last longer there, but do not have a long conversation.
When you're a villain, you can have business and you can have pleasure, but you should not have them at the same time.
What are you saying, Terry?
I'm saying that you shouldn't sit there, enjoying the slow torture you're putting your enemies through. Just get it done.
Yeah. I guess, we're making these broad statements, but it does depend on the story.
It does. Every single thing depends on the story.
But
and if the enemies were perfect, your hero would never have a chance.
Correct. That is absolutely correct.
Everyone has an ego. Here's where you get your villain to have a weak spot. Their own ego. They think they're better than you. They think they're smarter than you. They think their plan is infallible. That's how you get them. Exactly.
There's a good mustache twirling villain for you.
I don't think that word means what you think it means.
Yeah, that character is a great example. Educated, dumb as a post. Educated, except to the point where he has no idea what he's talking about. Educated ignorance? I don't know. What would you call that?
A blind spot. A huge, stinking blind spot.
Yes. Yes. And, just lacking common sense.
One of the things that when we write about is a lot of people often forget that heroes and villains have blind spots from the way that they were raised, the way they were educated, things they would never even consider, or things that if they saw it, they would totally misunderstand what it actually meant. It's true of the heroes, true of the villains.
Yeah.
Those can be exploited. And
nobody's plan ever goes the way it's supposed to.
No plan survives contact with the enemy.
There's going to be some major F up. They may recover from it, but there's going to be an F up.
If things are going too smoothly, be ready for it all to go to shit.
That's my world. Hey, wait a minute. We have 5 minutes to breathe. Shit. What's coming now? You do the same thing, though.
Mm-hmm. I'm not arguing. I agree.
Give your characters 5 minutes to get their wits about them and then do other horrible things to them. It's always a good time.
The other shoe needs to drop.
Yes, and it needs to be a boot, not a running shoe. It needs to be a big old boot. Preferably steel-toed, weighing like 15 pounds.
Those things hurt.
Yeah, I know. I know quite well.
Speaking of dumbassery, I saw a news article where some guy decided to test out his 45 against a steel-toed boot. You can imagine that did not work out the way he hoped.
Oh my God. Thin the herd. Make sure this person does not reproduce, please. Please.
Of course, there's also been stories of people buying bulletproof vests and testing it out on each other with rifles.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, hopefully they didn't have a chance to breed. Unfortunately, I'm pretty sure they did.
I'm afraid that it is so.
Yeah.
Man, you could write some really good stories about people that really should fall afoul of the Darwin Awards.
Yeah, like every week. Every day you see a story and you're like, yeah, it's a Darwin Award about to happen.
Meanwhile, in the headquarters of the Darwin Awards, we have a winner!
We have a winner! They even fly somebody out there to look at the corpse.
You could totally have that as a little sidebar in your story where somebody does something ridiculously stupid and gets themselves killed, and then you flash over to a short scene in the Darwin Award Center. Meanwhile, in the Darwin Award Center, woo!
No, see what needs to be written is the official Darwin Awards inspector.
You can make that the hero of your story.
You're damn right. Who has to go out to every murder scene or homicide or suicide where these people have done themselves a foul, and determine whether or not it constitutes an entry for the Darwin Awards. And then he keeps finding murders slipped into the suicides and whatnot. That sounds like an interesting TV show.
You know, that actually does sound like an interesting story. Somebody get busy on that.
Yeah, somebody get busy on that right fucking now. Go write that script treatment right now. Because I would watch that. You could have a smart ass camera person or a documentation person or whatever else with him to do interviews and things like that and help corral everything. And then he's always messing with the cops because they have no idea who he is or why he's there. I think it'd be funny as hell.
There's a movie with Nicolas Cage in it called Drive Angry. Have you ever heard of it or seen it?
I saw like a poster for it about 1,000 years ago.
It is an amazing movie. It is awesome.
The opinions and the comments and reviews expressed by Terry Mixon should not be taken seriously by anybody listening.
When he escapes from hell because his daughter is in trouble and he is having to fight his way across wherever to get to her, the person that pursues him is hell's accountant. Hell's accountant. Who, wherever he goes, he can just hold up this thing that looks like an ID badge and it becomes whatever it needs to be what he needs. FBI, and he's an FBI agent. Police, sheriff's office, medical examiner. And he's just pissing off people left and right by doing his thing.
I can see that. What a jack.
Actually, I really do recommend you watch that movie because it is hilariously violent.
Oh, God, it's one of those.
It has a scene where Nicolas Cage, now that he is quote unquote alive again, is having sex with a prostitute when a bunch of bad things break in to get him. So in act, he's having to shoot these things while still copulating.
This is why I don't watch Nick Cage movies anymore.
It was awesome.
It's also the same reason why you should take Terry's comments, reviews, and opinions with a grain of antimatter.
You know, people know what my tastes are. If I like a movie, yeah, I do have. It's certain values of taste, mind you. But
Possum
people know what I like. So they could say, oh, if Terry likes that, I might like that.
Oh, yikes.
I have to see what the rating on that was, that movie.
I give it 2 out of 10 joints, Terry.
Rotten Tomatoes only gives it a 46%, but
I thought it'd be much lower.
That might just be the critics. You can never really tell how that's going to be. It's got a picture of the accountant. I'm going to send you a picture of the accountant because that's awesome. Here's the link. It's awesome.
This is why Terry should also not be allowed to have the internet. Unfortunately, we wouldn't be able to record if you didn't. Oh, that guy. Okay.
And he's not the villain of the story. He just has to bring Nicolas Cage back.
Audience score 37%.
Yeah, well, it was awesome. When you go into these movies looking for a certain level of cheese and you accept that it's going to have that certain level of cheese, then you can just liberate yourself and enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah, there is definitely a point where you just say, fuck it, it's popcorn. Not going to get bent out of shape about it.
This Drive Angry is a popcorn movie. Have fun.
It just sounds awful. It just sounds awful. We should probably end the show now.
Well, I think that's a good place. We've hit Nick Cage. We've pretty much reached the end of the internet.
Yeah, that pretty much destroyed our flow, if you could say we had one. So if you have a question, comment, opinion regarding Terry's terrible taste in movies, you can send an email to show@deadrobotsociety.com. You can tweet me at Paul_E_Cooley. You can join us at Facebook on the listeners of the Dead Robot Society Facebook group. You can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/DRS podcast. We have to give a shout out to our wonderful host, pod hoster, who makes all 5 bazillion episodes of the Dead Robot Society available for your ear holes. We have to thank our lovely, wonderful patrons who, for as little as $1 a month, earn access to exclusive content, live shows, early shows, unexpurgated shows, and all that kind of madness. And at the $10 level, you get your name read. And this week's $10 patrons are Andrew Smallwood, JD Barker, Aaron Meeser, Jesse, I'm a little teapot, short and stout Orcut, Veronica Jaguar, not a possum, Jack F. Erickson, Kelson, the tutor who tooted the flute, Isabel Cushy, Rick Shaw, Lisa Slack, Nathan Cosby, Cheryl Winters, Tracy Bodine, Devin Lee, Drew We the North Bernardi, Chris Winder, Andre Conde Moraes, and J.R. Handley.
Thanks very much for your support, folks. You help make this show possible.
Yes, thank you very much. And with that, I think it's time we get out of here. Terry, it was its usual bumbling mess.
This one more than most.
This one more than most. Jesus
I blame sex robots.
Yeah, how do we end? You know what? Forget it. We'll talk about it later. In the meantime, have a great week. We'll see you next week.
Later, folks.